Hey, Coach. Speaking with Sue Bird before the game, she just mentioned, making the decision to come to Connecticut and, choosing over other schools. She joked that it was so she could do her laundry at home. But obviously, she came for other reasons. Can you just talk about how she, committing at the time, changed the trajectory of the program?
I think that particular recruiting was one of the more unique recruiting classes, not just in the level of talent. It's not every day that you recruit 3 Olympians, in the same recruiting class. But they all worked on each other and helped recruit each other. And Sue was definitely one of the ringleaders of that, because one thing about Sue Bird is there isn't anyone she doesn't know, and there isn't anything she doesn't know about anything. She stays current. So when she was being recruited, she was all over it with Swin and Asia, Tamika, like that whole crew. And, you always think, yeah, we're in pretty good shape recruiting this kid or that kid. And I know what we were up against with Sue. It was Vanderbilt, Stanford. And her being a great student, father, sister, Ivy League. So it's always a concern, but at the same time, I just thought we had something to offer that no one else did. And I think we had a great relationship with her and as a coaching staff. But you don't realize it at the time, because you can never predict. But certainly that recruiting class, that decision, for Sue to come to Connecticut, eventually played out into us putting together the best basketball team of all time.
Hey, Gino, only certain athletes become identified with a number, maybe do you think of Sue now in number 10 the way you might think of some of those other athletes that are identified with a number?
The more time went by, yeah, the more you do. You do get to the feeling that there's something special there. It was weird coaching her on the Olympic team where she's number 6, because they do it differently. But the first time I really identified, I shouldn't say the first time. There have been other times when I kind of knew. With Sue, I had no idea that this is, that her picking number 10 was going to become iconic. One of those things. For me, one of the best ones was when Nikisha Sales visited, and she asked me, "Can I wear number 42?" And that's when I knew she was coming here, because her real number was 24 at Bloomfield. But she knew that Kerry Bascom wore 24, and she didn't want to wear a former All-American's number. So some people have tremendous respect for other people's numbers, and they don't want to. We haven't had many number 10s here.
Has anyone ever asked for it and you said no?
No, actually, no. I never said no to anybody asking for a number, except when D wanted to be 0 or 00. That pissed me off, and I said, "There's no chance that's going to happen." But everybody else, like, if you think you're good enough to wear that number, go ahead, knock yourself out. No, it's. But what I did say, out there was, it really is unfair to so many players that we have, whose numbers may never get retired, who were some of the best basketball players ever to play, not just here but in college. That the criteria is you have to be in the Hall of Fame. That's kind of mind-boggling, right? Yeah, well, luckily now, the NCAA changed. You can have any number you want. That's double figures. I mean, can't have number 100 yet, but thank God, we'd be like the Yankees and Celtics. We'd be running out of numbers after a while.
Every kid that comes here knows Sue Bird, obviously WNBA, Olympics. Do you think your kids were extra fired up? It seemed like they had an extra jump in the way they started the game today. They seemed a little extra fired up to just get out and start rolling.
Maybe. It'd be hard not to be affected somehow by having somebody like that in the building. Somebody that maybe they looked up to, they certainly heard so much about. Before the game, yesterday actually, we talked a lot about, what it means to be part of this, and how lucky, fortunate they are to be playing here, on a day when this is happening. I think they took it to heart. It's a special day for UConn basketball, and if you're a kid on our team, and it's crazy. Even though Sue's old enough to be Khalees's mom, that's beside the point.
Gino, maybe they were affected today by Sue's appearance, but it seemed like the first half was a scoring contest between Sarah and AZ. Can you talk about how they get what they want when they want so often?
I sometimes marvel at how they get the shots they get, and a lot of it has to do with their talent, their understanding of our offense, how to get open, the fact that they're not limited to one spot on the floor or another. But yeah, I think Sarah played 16 minutes and 45 seconds. And, she had 20 points, 5 assists, 4 assists, 5 steals. And AZ, same thing, just really, really efficient. And that means a lot more to me than anything else. Any stat, none means more to me than how efficient they are in what they do.
Smaller than maybe the Big Ten or other Power 5 conferences. How do you see that size difference just impacting players who are new to the league, like Sarah Williams?
I don't know. I think in some ways, the only impact, if there is any, would be you having to have to guard them. I don't think the only impact they could have on them guarding you is a negative impact for them, that they got to be able to handle you inside the lane. So, Sarah Williams should get a lot more she should get a lot more production in whether it's against all these other teams we played, Big Ten teams that we played, ACC teams that we played. You know, she should be more productive and touch the ball more often, and go rebound the ball more often. Yeah. I think that's a decision that I think she needs to embrace. I should be dominant.
You got a lot of minutes for players who don't always play a ton today. Did you see anything from that group that stood out to you, and has anyone maybe emerged at all?
Well, in the first half, I thought they were auditioning for the basketball version of the Bad News Bears. Like we were doing stuff that I said, I don't remember seeing this, where guys just get the ball and dribble across the court, like from one side to the other, And second half, I thought they were really good. The tough part for those guys is when they're all in there. If they go in there individually and there's still, three of the other guys or four of the other guys, they kind of just blend in and see what happens. But as you're trying to get more minutes for more players, and all of a sudden there's four of them out there together, or there's five of them out there together, they don't necessarily get an opportunity to do that in practice, So you just hope that conceptually they get it. And I thought in the second half they did. We really looked really good. That group, that second unit looked really, really good. The problem is we have a bunch of guys on the third unit too that want to play, and that's when it becomes, how do you get everybody in? How do you get all the right combinations? But today was one of the better days, except for 2-3 minutes in the first half where, yeah, man, that was rough.
Coach, after the FDU win last year, you said post-game that some people just make your life better just by being in it, and you were referencing all the speeches that some of the alumni gave on the court. Is there a particular instance or story with Sue that kind of reaffirms that with you? And if so, what is it?
I would say her ability to manage and have complete control of her environment the whole time that she was here. Like, there was never a time when she felt out of place or at a loss, either on the court or off the court. Maybe, I said this yesterday, maybe everybody remembers the Notre Dame shot to win the Big East tournament. But for me, there were other moments you saw in the highlight film that they showed today, her game against Tennessee at Tennessee, her sophomore year, I think, when it just, to some people, it just came out of nowhere. But we saw that a lot. Her NCAA tournament run, her senior year, and almost like I spent 3 years, just being, oh, Sue, isn't she great? She's such a great passer. She's such a great, team player. And all of a sudden something happened that NCAA tournament her senior year where she just said, yeah, I think I want to try to score 25 every night. And she did. I mean, just, just her being on the team and knowing that we had her. And it was the same way when I coached the Olympic team too. if I'd have known that her and Dee were still going to play in Tokyo, I might have said yes.
You guys have gotten and made a lot more threes these last few games than you were at the beginning of the season. Just kind of, I know you were kind of waiting for that to happen. Do you attribute that to anything specific?
No, what did we shoot today? 8 for 12. It's not a lot, huh? We didn't take a lot of them. But some of our free throws, we should have dribbled it out to the three-point line and shot a three-pointer. You shoot, 66% from the three-point line and 56% or 58% from the free throw line. It's just a matter of percentage. You shoot enough of them, and they're all really good shots. Eventually, they all start going in. Today was just not as difficult to score other ways. And plus, when we're playing fast like that, and we get a lot of transition buckets. But, yeah, if you'd have told me we were only going to shoot 12 threes, I would be surprised. I would say, I think we're going to shoot a lot more than that. So, as long as we keep shooting them, as long as we keep getting, how many shots did we get today? 63. So we needed to take 20, 21 today. So we were way short. But I knew they would start going in.
Looking ahead to next weekend at USC, when you face teams where your players are coming from their former teams, their transfer, do you have to talk to them about how to kind of control the emotions, or is it not really brought up of kind of just act like it's a normal game?
I would say I just had an AZ Fudd moment. When you ask her a question, let me think. I would say, so I just had an AZ Fudd moment. Both. I asked Heckle the other day if she was coming on the trip. She was like astounded. Like, what do you mean am I coming on a trip? But she was looking over there. She wasn't looking at me in the eye. Because when people keep reminding you of that, it does get in your, so I just try to make light of it, and, you lose your mind because your emotions like, oh my God, how are they going to treat me? What do you care how they treat you? They could be really nice to you and then kick your ass. How's that feel? Or they could boo you and throw stuff at you and we beat them. Who cares? But kids being kids, yeah, I try to just make it light.
Coach, I saw you were in Sarah Strong's ear before the game during the starting lineups. Is that something you can share, what that conversation was, and did she apply it?
Well, it didn't come about because we were talking about, I want to remind her that if DePaul went zone at any time, we had worked on some different cuts that I wanted her to make. So I reminded her of it, and she did have a great question about how many spots would it be okay to go to, and so we talked about that. Where I wanted to see her go if they did go zone, but it never happened. It never happened. Thanks, everybody.
Kaylee, as a fellow point guard from New York, how much did you watch Sue growing up, and what was it like for you to get to meet her and see this whole day today?
Yeah, Sue's my favorite player of all time, and I've watched her a lot when I was growing up. It was just really cool to see her jersey get retired, and such a great moment for her and her family and the program. So it was really cool to just see her happy, see her back at UConn, and it was a really cool experience.
A similar question for you, KK. There's been a lot of elite guards that have come through UConn's program. What are some of the things you take from them that you want to carve out in your own UConn career?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing definitely is their leadership style and how they led by example, but also too just how they carry themselves on and off the court. I feel like that's the biggest thing that leaves a trail here at UConn, especially the point guard's status. So just having the opportunity just to have Sue back, play in front of her, but just also watching her, how great she was here, but not only there at the next level as well, is something that I aspire to be. So.
Kaylee, do you have any special story of how you became such a big fan of Sue, and what did you like so much about her?
Well, when I first learned that she was from New York, I started following her a lot more. And like Christ the King is close to where some of my dad's side of the family live. So it was just like where she grew up and just seeing such a great role model for me in a similar area. So that's when it first started.
For any and all three, you're looking at the box score. What stands out from that piece of paper, and how did you guys make it look so easy today, especially in the first half?
I feel like one thing that stands out is how much turnovers that we got, which created for our offense, and I feel like that's been our biggest thing, how we can create havoc to start our offensive break, to settle us in more and get us going. So I feel like that's the definitely biggest thing, and biggest thing that we've been working on is defense and communication and rotations and different things like that, just all coming together and how well we communicated tonight. So
I think also just it's constant every game, but like our assists, like I feel like it's always a high number, and we try to have that be the case every game.
no, they got it.
Dana, this is a new role for you. Coming off the bench instead of starting last year, you had a season high points today. Just where are you feeling most comfortable now? You know, having that year under your belt.
I think right now I'm just trying to. I don't think my role has changed as much, but just finishing around the rim and just having my teammates like looking all the time and have good passes from those two. And yeah, just playing good defense and trying to be disruptive. Yeah.
Kaylee, looking ahead to next week, just what are your thoughts of heading back to LA and facing USC?
Yeah, I haven't thought too much about it. I just try to take one game at a time, but I'm excited to go back. I had a great freshman year there, and I learned a lot, and it was a great experience, a lot of fun memories, so I'm looking forward to it.
Jana, where do you think, you said you think you're in a pretty similar role, but where do you think you've improved the most compared to where you were in April?
I think definitely I've been focusing on defense mainly, and that's the biggest thing that I've been honestly focusing on, and rebounds.
Kaylee, Kaylee, do you think your brain will be picked this week in preparation for USC? The coaches talked about trying to find out what you know.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think about it, and it is a regular game, so it's not really anything different going into it.
Kaylee, you tied your career high from last year with 16 points today. Just what is going through your mind when you took into the game, knowing you have to be the energy spark and knowing you need to continue with whoever's in the game started?
I just try to go in and do whatever I have to do for the team, whether that's scoring or defense, rebounding, passing. Like, it really doesn't matter to me as long as we get the win. So I just go in and try to be that spark, be that person that could help us keep going once we get subs in.